$1 million question, honey. And this is your life on the line. Either you cooperate or not.
I am not the one that gave her a ride. I can't tell you what park it was at, and I don't even know how to load a gun. And I am going down for murder for someone, and I wasn't even there.
Sweetheart, you were the one fighting with her.
Can you help me out with kind of knowing what would have led to that? Someone being absolutely brutally upset with her to go to the level of trying to kill her?
911, where's your emergency?
I'm at Crow Spring Park in Wright County off of Highway 25.
Yep.
I just pulled into the park here and there's somebody laying here. It looks like they're dead.
On the morning of June 1st, 2016, Wright County officers arrive at the Crow Springs Park in Buffalo, Minnesota, where they find a female body lying face down in the grass with bullet wounds to her back and head. The victim of this tragedy was identified as 19-year-old Cheyenne Clough. Little did anyone know the shooter would be much closer to home than anyone could have expected. Cheyenne grew up in Buffalo, Minnesota, a small town where everyone knew everyone. She was known for her quirky personality, which helped her build friendships across different circles. But, like many small-town stories, Cheyenne's life wasn't without its hardships. In the summer of 2012, Cheyenne fell in love and eventually became pregnant at the age of 15. This was a shocking turn in her life, but she was devoted to raising the baby with the help of the baby daddy. But unfortunately, they broke up. She was now a working mother, which made her drop out of school and entrust her son's custody to her mother while she worked several jobs to support him. It was a tough balancing act, but Cheyenne was determined to build a future for herself and her son. After facing the challenges of young motherhood and navigating her way through a difficult breakup, Cheyenne found a new start. She found a job just outside of Buffalo in a town called Maple Lake, which compelled her to relocate and move into a shared house, a place where she felt a sense of belonging, surrounded by people who became her second family. Among them were Callie Anderson, a spirited and confident young woman who shared many laughs with Cheyenne, Natasha Bradenberger, whose friendship with Cheyenne quickly deepened as they spent long hours together bonding over the ups and downs of life, Callie's boyfriend, Sean Benson, and Natasha's boyfriend, Justin Jensen, who also lived in the house. Together, they made the perfect group, often joking around and treating each other like siblings. This group of friends seemed inseparable. To Cheyenne, they were more than just roommates. They were a support system that helped her navigate the complexities of life. They shared meals, made memories, and for a while, everything seemed perfect. But as close as they were, Cheyenne couldn't help but feel a growing sense of isolation. Callie and Natasha, her closest friends in the house, both had their boyfriends, Sean and Justin, by their sides. It left Cheyenne feeling somewhat alone, like she was missing a piece of the connection that the others had. And that's when she met Devin Boyles, a man whose presence in her life changed everything. Devin, on paper, was a bad boy with a troubled past, but at the same time, he was exactly the kind of escape that Cheyenne craved. While the others in the house weren't too fond of him, that didn't matter to Cheyenne. To her, Devin was exciting, mysterious, and most of all, he filled that void of loneliness. Devin's criminal history wasn't much of a secret. He was reported to have gang affiliations and had been in and out of trouble with the law. But despite the whispers and warnings from those around her, Cheyenne became inseparable from him. For Cheyenne, Devin represented a break from the mundane, a thrilling and dangerous love that made her feel alive in a way that she hadn't felt in a long time. Their relationship, though intense, started to drive a wedge between Cheyenne and the rest of the house. Devin's presence made her housemates uneasy. They didn't like his influence on her or the way he carried himself, and tensions began to simmer just beneath the surface. In her eyes, meaning Cheyenne's, Devin was someone worth standing by, no matter what anyone else thought. But in the eyes of her friends, he was wrong for her, possibly even dangerous. As Cheyenne lay fighting for her life in the hospital, her friends and family were asked one burning question: who would want to harm her? Their suspicions immediately turned to Devin Boyles. Given his criminal background and troubled relationship with Cheyenne, he seemed the most obvious suspect. The police immediately started searching that same day for Devin, only to uncover something very surprising. He was already in custody. Devin had been arrested and put into custody the day before Cheyenne was found, which was May 31st, 2016. Apparently, he had some previous outstanding warrants. But by the end of this interrogation, we will know for sure if we can add first-degree murder to his list of charges.
Today's date is June 1st, 2016. This is ICR number 1601-4706, Detective Adams, Wright County Sheriff's Office. Present with Devin. What do I see your last name?
Boyles.
Boyles. What's your middle name, Devin?
Carl.
K or C?
C.
And your date of birth?
7/28/92.
I gotta read you Miranda too because you're in custody, you understand?
From a body language perspective, we can see that he's displaying signs that he's hiding something. Folded hands and looking down is a clear indicator that the person is hiding something. But still, it's too early to tell.
Okay, I need to talk to you about Cheyenne. Can you pronounce your last name for me?
Cole.
You say how?
Cole.
There's nothing here, I'm sorry. Cole?
Yeah, COLCOUGH.
Okay. You got arrested by bounty hunters?
Yes.
When was that?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Where was that
This
at?
is the 30th
The 30th?
in Maple Lake.
Okay, where at in Maple Lake?
I don't know the address of the house.
Whose house was it?
A friend of me is Justin.
Justin's house?
Yeah.
You know his last name?
No.
Do you know what he looks like?
He has short hair, green,
How about this? Black, white, Hispanic?
white,
Okay. Male, obviously.
Yep.
A whole.
late 20s.
Shorter hair, you said?
Yeah, like no hair.
To no hair?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of build? Tall, short?
Taller,
About how tall?
6 feet.
What did he weigh about? Approximately.
155 to 160.
To 170 what?
160.
To 160, sorry. His name is Justin. You don't know his last name?
No.
Okay. And that was in Maple Lake. What time were you arrested?
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
1 p.m.? Okay.
There is an interesting point to note here that Devin was arrested by a bounty hunter, not a police officer. And that's interesting because bounty hunters are tasked with finding fugitives who have skipped bail. And unlike the police, they have limited resources in finding the fugitive. Considering that Devin was arrested at the Maple Lake house, it is possible that someone had tipped a bounty hunter about his location, which led to his arrest. Just keep that in mind, as it's going to build up to something much bigger later on in this case.
Was your girlfriend with you?
Yes.
Okay, who else was there?
Natasha.
What's her last name?
I don't know.
Okay. So just Cheyenne, you and Natasha?
Yep.
Justin wasn't there? Okay. And look, I mean, I know there's meth use and whatever and stuff going on at their house. So, I told you what has happened to Natasha, or excuse me, to Cheyenne. And the situation basically is not good. Can you help me out with kind of knowing what would have led to that? Someone being absolutely brutally upset with her to go to the level of trying to kill her?
I don't know, man. You can talk to Justin.
Well, they're going to try to now, but we can't locate him. So,
Where did it happen and where was she?
it was out in the country, in a secluded place. We just found her laying on the ground this morning.
Sure, right now.
She's at Mercy Hospital with a bullet through her head. She's in horrible shape, and we don't know if she's going to make it through the night. Who do you think she would have been hanging out with early in the morning hours last night?
I don't know who she would have been hanging out with.
I understand. Would she have been hanging out with Justin?
Maybe.
Natasha? Are they meth users? Okay. Why were you guys at Justin's house?
Because he's a buddy of mine.
Because he's a buddy of yours.
And hers.
And hers. So Cheyenne and Justin got along?
Yeah. But he could have did it, I don't know.
Does he have any weapons?
Yeah. What kind of weapon was it?
Well, I'm not positive yet because of the operation procedure and stuff. So, what kind of weapons does he have?
He can get his hands on anything.
He can. Does he have weapons at the house?
22, I think.
Is that a rifle or a handgun?
Rifle.
Okay. Where do you see the 22 rifle at?
He just carries it around.
Around the house?
Yeah.
Does he bring it from his room or somewhere, or get it from the garage? Or... Okay. Why does he carry it around the house?
Because he's psychopath. I don't know, man.
According to the investigation, Cheyenne was killed using a .22 caliber revolver, a gun which Jensen didn't have. So where did the gun come from? And most importantly, who was the trigger man who shot her 3 times? By the way, if you're finding this video interesting, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really supports the channel. Now, let's dive back in.
Hey, if you were me, where would you look?
Justin's house. Go find him.
Why Justin's house, though?
Because that's the last place she was.
You know.
Yeah.
And that was at 1 o'clock
In the afternoon.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Was she saying she's planning to go anywhere?
No. She was sleeping.
Okay, does she have a cell phone?
Cheyenne?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of phone is it?
HTC.
Is it a smartphone or a flip phone?
Smartphone.
Is it registered to her?
Yes.
What's the number? Do you know it?
It's in our robbery.
Can we go get that in a little bit? Not right now.
Yeah, and it's Verizon.
Verizon. The car that she's been using, that one from Iowa. I know it's stolen. I don't care.
She was driving it?
I don't know. Where would I find that? Where would
That's
I
at Justin's house.
Where at?
Behind the side of the garage.
When you were arrested, it was there? On the back alley side?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it in the garage?
No.
Did you guys park it anywhere else ever to kind of keep it away from you guys?
No.
Did Justin ever use that car?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know if he used it yesterday or not.
How about before that?
No.
You don't think he's used it?
I know he hasn't used it.
Okay. Okay. You got my car? You didn't tear it up?
No, I didn't turn up.
Okay. Will you contact me if you want to get a little more, feeling better?
Yeah.
Can I come down and talk to you again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be in a different jail though.
Where at?
I don't know, I got holds all over.
Okay.
Stearns, and Scott.
Okay. Then you know what happens. I may come down in the morning and talk to you. Get you on more sleep.
Let me know if I need to sit down make it or something.
I'll let you know when I know tomorrow. When I come down, okay? If you think of anything in the meantime, will you please let us know? Okay. Thank you.
From Devin's interrogation, we learned that the last time that he saw Cheyenne was with Natasha Bradenberger at the Maple Lake house. He also claims that Cheyenne's car, the 2008 Honda Accord which was found at the crime scene, was at the house prior to his arrest. Now, the police are shifting their focus to Cheyenne's friends, Natasha Bradenberger and Callie Anderson. After all, they were the ones who spent the most time with her in the days leading up to the shooting. When officers arrived at the Maple Lake house to question them, they found something very strange. The house was completely empty. Natasha, Callie, and their boyfriends had all vanished without a trace, leaving in a hurry. But they didn't leave clean.
This door had to be forced open. It was just a bit of a patio area. Majority of things you see were all done prior to our entry. as far as the why everything is located where it is.
The house was in disarray, as if something had gone terribly wrong. None of the friends were responding to their cell phones, and judging by the mess that they had made, it seemed like that they took what was necessary and were now on the run. There were shell casings scattered across the floor and fired cartridges on the coffee table. There was a bullet found in the wall, which appeared to be from a .22 revolver, the same bullet used to gun down Cheyenne. The evidence was overwhelming, and what it revealed was far more sinister than anyone could have imagined. Among the mess, police found Natasha's ID, further linking her to the crime scene. Cheyenne's so-called friends weren't just hiding, they were part of the story, and the house held the keys to uncovering the truth. A careful search through Justin Jensen's Facebook page revealed a bunch of his closest friends, one of whom was Edward Zelko. According to his Facebook message, he was going to International Falls, and he feared that Justin Jensen and some guy named Sean Kirby would kill him. Now, at this point, the police were baffled at who these two were, but whoever they were planning to flee the country before anyone could catch up to them. Luckily, the Bolo alert got the detectives closer to catching them. There was a gas station owner just outside of Minneapolis who claimed that he spotted the pair. He submitted a CCTV camera from the gas station, which showed 2 cars pulling up. You can see the 2 drivers of the car. One is Justin Jensen, and the other is unknown at the moment. We also see Justin and Natasha with their dog driving in one car, while Callie, Sean, and this new guy are in the other car. One of the cars is of Justin Jensen, and the other car, the Chrysler, belongs to a friend of Justin named Edward Zelko, someone who hasn't been on the radar up until now. They were stocking up on supplies, clearly preparing for a getaway. With time running out, authorities moved quickly to intercept them before they could disappear across the border. On June 4th of 2016, just 3 days after Cheyenne's body was found, the group was apprehended near International Falls. They were hauled in for interrogation that day, and while it wasn't exactly a first time for Justin and Sean, Callie and Natasha were new to all this. The detectives believed that the girls should start the interrogation since it felt like they were the least involved, and it's highly likely that they'll come clean without undergoing much pressure. Callie was the first to be interviewed, but it sounds like she was under influence when she was interrogated at the Cheyenne County Sheriff's Office.
So when did you decide to come up here?
My family had this planned out with their family for a while to come up here, and we were only supposed to be here for like a night or two and then go home, and then I don't know.
Prior to coming up here, where were you?
Maple Lake.
Maple Lake? You know what day you left to come up here? Say again?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I don't remember that.
How did you get up here?
A friend that was with us, he drove, but I don't know, he kind of just ditched us.
So who's your friend that drove you up here?
I don't know his real name because he has a nickname. I don't know his real name. Call him Jimmy John.
Call him what?
Jimmy John.
Jimmy John? Can you describe Jimmy John to me?
I don't know.
Is it a white male, Hispanic male, African American, Native American?
White.
White male? Okay.
In this interrogation, the detectives spent half the time jogging Callie's memory. After which, she says exactly what Devin Boyle said, that she had last seen Cheyenne on May 31st, when Devin was arrested at the house. But at the same time, she was also a witness of what happened after the arrest.
There was a situation that happened where Cheyenne started freaking out at Natasha, saying that she snitched on her boyfriend. And so Natasha told her she had to leave. And I came out of the room. And some of Cheyenne's stuff was still in my room because she had brought everything in there and left it all in there when she went to go nap earlier, and she never came and got it. So then I was like, because she was freaking out my sister, I just said.
Say again?
Because she's freaking out my sister.
Who's your sister?
I call Natasha my sister. I just said.
Can you repeat that? I couldn't understand what you said, Callie. She saw stuff in your room? Is that what you said?
No.
What did you say?
Cheyenne's stuff was in my room, like
Oh.
all of her big belongings that she had with her. She kind of just left them in there when I woke her up in our room to go nap in the other room. She got up and left all her stuff in there. So then I just told her, just get your stuff and go. And that was the last thing I ever said.
Go where?
Just take your stuff and get out, basically.
So you told her to leave?
Yeah. Well,
Why'd you tell her to leave?
because she was starting fights at the house that didn't need to happen. Like, not. Like, she was freaking out for no reason.
You mean like a verbal altercation, a physical altercation? What do you mean by fighting? Describe that to me.
Verbal.
Verbal? What are they saying?
She was calling her. Cheyenne was calling Natasha a snitch.
According to Callie, Natasha was the one who called the bounty hunter about Devin's outstanding warrants, which led to his arrest. The group didn't like him, so this was their way of getting rid of him for good. But Cheyenne didn't like that. This led to a verbal altercation, which led to Cheyenne getting kicked out of the Maple Lake house. So now that we know the bone of contention, the question is, was this a big enough reason for her to get murdered?
And what did Tasha say? How'd she react?
I don't remember exactly what she said to her. Something.
Did she give it back to her? I mean, how did she react to that?
What?
I'm asking, how did Tasha react to Cheyenne yelling at her, claiming that she was a snitch?
I don't remember exactly how she reacted. I know that she called Justin and said that she was freaking out at her, and Justin just said, then tell her to leave and ride out of there or something, and Cheyenne got a ride. I don't know what happened after that. Then Justin came home. It was me, Natasha, Justin, and Sean all at home.
Okay. But you told me just like 2 minutes ago, you said you told her to leave and get her stuff and go.
Yeah, out of my room.
Okay.
And then they told her that she had to leave the house.
Okay.
And
so Natasha called Justin, told Justin, Cheyenne's freaking out. And Justin recommended that she just grab her items and get the heck out. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah.
Callie claims that it was Justin's idea to get rid of Cheyenne after the verbal altercation, and that, quote-unquote, they dropped her off somewhere. Why would she need to be dropped somewhere if she had her own car? Well, before any such important questions can come up, Callie asked for a lawyer and she stopped answering any more questions. But at this point, she had already told the detectives more than she needed to. Natasha was interviewed next, which means that she's going to have to fill in the missing gaps, particularly about the altercation and whether it ended in disagreement or death. And this time, the detectives were more hopeful to get information out of Natasha, because from the moment the interrogation started, she was welling up with tears and regret.
Hi, Detective Evans, the Wright County Sheriff's Office. It's Detective Lindquist. So, we're here to talk about something, and I think you probably know what that is. Okay.
Yeah, I know about Cheyenne.
Right. What do you know of why we want to talk to you?
She was killed. I'm not gonna lie for anybody anymore.
Please don't.
I was freaking out because I wanted to turn myself in, and they told me that I was stupid. I was like, I understand, but I didn't kill Cheyenne, and I don't want to be blamed for killing Cheyenne.
$1 million question, honey. And this is your life on the line. Either you cooperate or not. She thought you turned her boyfriend in, and then what happened?
It was like 1 o'clock at night, and it was just Cheyenne and I and Callie. And she got all sniffy with me for turning him in and started getting loud, and I told her she needed to leave the house. And Justin wasn't home yet. And I was like, listen, you have to, until Justin gets here to get out. And she's like, I'm not leaving. And she kept getting disrespectful, rude, and making snarky comments. And I was like, listen, either you leave now or I call the police. And then she started getting all smart about, well, if you're going to turn me in, then we're just going to turn Callie in also.
Natasha claims that Cheyenne made a comment about turning Callie in if Natasha called the police. Callie had once been arrested for assault, but she had been bailed out of jail. And of course, Callie had never showed up to her bail hearing. And that was the turning point of their conversation, the point when things got physical.
Cheyenne was walking out the door, and she made a smart comment. They grabbed her by the back of her hoodie and pulled her to the door to tell her that she didn't need to be disrespectful. So I went out the gun, and I put it in the backpack, and I brought it, and I gave it to Justin, and then Justin said that Cheyenne was going to get a ride home with Eddie and Sean.
What happens to Cheyenne and the others?
They came back 1.5 hours later.
Who's they?
Eddie and Sean.
Okay.
And Sean Cheyenne.
What did you say?
Sean shot Cheyenne. Sean couldn't get me gone to work, and so he had to show him how to do it. And then he missed her head and shot her in the back, and she started running. And Eddie had to pin her down and restrain her. I was at home with Callie and Justin. I am not the one that gave her a ride. I can't tell you what park he was at, and I don't even know how to load a gun. And I'm going down for murder for someone, and I wasn't even there.
Sweetheart, you were the one fighting with her. Justin's your boyfriend.
Yeah, I fought with her before she left.
And you guys didn't want her at your house.
No. I wanted her out.
So your boyfriend gets a gun from you that ultimately kills her.
If we go back to that Facebook message by Edward Zelko about his trip to the International Falls, we know that Edward acted like someone who was pushed to do something wrong. If we're going to rely on Natasha's statement, then that makes Sean Benson, or from the text message, Sean Kirby, as the murderer, and Justin Jensen and Ed Zelko as merely helpers. And according to the text messages from Natasha's phone, this confession was something that she was wanting for a long time, but she feared what Justin or any of the guys would do if she did. She texted about how they already had made plans to get out of town, and with this murder, it seemed like a getaway. The murder weapon was never recovered, and the only evidence that the detectives have is Natasha's testimony. And in the case of these 3 men, surprisingly, Natasha and Callie both testified against them. Justin, Sean, and Eddie all pled guilty to second-degree intentional murder and were each sentenced to 30 to 40 years in prison. Callie and Natasha avoided murder charges or any type of involvement because there wasn't enough evidence. The whole case was framed to believe that Justin was the mastermind behind this cruel murder and that Sean and Ed Zelko were the partners in crime. But in reality, it was Natasha and Callie who were the real killers. Cheyenne was killed over a stupid argument, Something that could have ended then and there if Natasha had stopped. Justin had no ulterior motive to kill other than Natasha, and yet she gets to walk free after betraying Cheyenne's trust. If you think this case was horrific, be sure to check out my video on the evil daughter who had no idea that her confession was being secretly recorded.